Good morning and thank you for joining us. We begin this morning with a breaking news story out of Iraq. The U.S. Embassy in the country and the State Department have ordered all non-essential, non-emergency government staff to leave the country right away.
I was learning from Detroit police a short time ago that you may have a suspect in custody. Sir, tell us your name and tell us what you know so far. Former President Barack Obama definitely took aim at President Trump last night, and he also made a number of powerful statements, one including that really got my attention: Black Lives Matter, no more, no less.
But first, a teen is in temporary serious condition this morning after a shooting on Detroit's east side. It happened in the area of Chalmers and Auto Drive last night. Folks came out here yesterday starting around 5 p.m., 6 p.m. We're at the corner of 7 Mile and Shiawassee, and what you had were folks lining up here, lining down the street. You're bringing folks from all walks of life together. I mean, so that's the key part here. Talk about how you bring everyone together to push this forward. Alan, good morning to you. I did something I haven't done in a long time. I went downtown. I went for a nice walk along the riverfront, and the sun was just beaming. Once I got back home, my face was a little bit more red than usual. I mean, the sun was out there. Loved it. But it's too much money at stake. I mean, we're talking more than $1 billion. You have to buy 10 tickets if you're feeling lucky. Like, okay, let me just try it, see what happens. Good morning. It's 4 o'clock Friday, May 10th. I'm Josh Landon. We'll have a check for your weather coming up at 4:02. But first, Detroit police searching for a missing man. 72-year-old Gerald Duke was last seen around 8 o'clock last night in the 7800 block of Auto Drive. Metro Detroiters hoping for the possibility of cheaper car insurance. Early yesterday morning, the State House passed their version of a no-fault reform bill, but it's far from a done deal. Fox 2's Tim Skubic explains what happens next. The governor signs a bill she says treats people accused of drug offenses more fairly. The new law says a person must be convicted before their property can be forfeited to police. Donald Trump Jr. could be in for a D.C. grilling. He's been called before lawmakers to clear up some questions regarding earlier testimony on Russia. Fox's Kevin Cork has more. Hey, so Jill, I mean, for the most part yesterday, I mean, of course you had a few downpours here and there, but later on in the day, it shaped out to be okay.
It did, and it was nice and warm, which was awesome, very spring-like. Yeah. We're going to lose some of that warmth today, but we're going to gain a whole lot of sunshine.
Well, you know the rule. If you can't say anything nice, well, don't say anything at all. Still to come, a disc jockey loses his job over his not-so-nice comments about the royal baby. DJ Danny Baker was fired from his job after he posted a mean tweet about the royal baby. Baker posted an image of a couple holding hands with a chimpanzee dressed in clothes with the caption, "Royal baby leaves hospital." Sorry, Mr. Baker, you were kind of asking for it.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's self-explanatory, some kind of tweet like that referring to a baby.
I mean, is it shock value? What's he looking for?
Oh, he got shock value out of it.
He did.
And he lost his job as a result.
Right.
He got the shock value for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Jill, also trending for all the wrong reasons. Former Detroit Piston Dennis Rodman. Coming up at 4:30, the bad boy is accused of throwing an assist to some thieves. We'll explain. Welcome back. If you commit a crime in downtown Pontiac, the cameras are watching you. The city is expanding its surveillance camera program, hoping to have 250 in place by the end of the year. Here's Fox 2's Hillary Golston. 4:32 is your time. Joe Washburn here with us. So how's the weekend shaping up? Are we going to get some warm weather, some sunshine for Mother's Day?
We're not going to be there for Mother's Day. Actually, we're going to see some sunshine later today and tomorrow.
A school bus driver and several kindergarten students were taken to the hospital after an accident in Sterling Heights. Happened yesterday afternoon at 16 Mile and Shaner. New this morning, the president of Schoolcraft College in Livonia pays a $75 fine to settle an election complaint. The state says Conway Jeffries used his public email account to gain support for a school property tax during the 2018 election. HIV is a major problem in Detroit. Yesterday, Wayne State School of Medicine hosted a discussion on some of the reasons why. Cases are especially high among drug users, teens, and foreigners. This despite the options for free and nearly free treatment. One segment of the population, especially at risk, young black gay men. New research shows broccoli may help fight off schizophrenia. Further studies need to be done, but health officials say the broccoli compound could be used in place of some medication. Study participants reported experiencing gas and stomach aches while taking the broccoli extract pills. Medical professionals say the side effects are mild compared to the potentially dangerous ones associated with some medications. 4:42 is your time for another check of the weather. Jill, did you mention something about frost a moment ago?
I did. We do have the chance for some frost tonight into tomorrow morning. We'll talk about that.
A new company report says Walmart pays its store managers an average of $175,000 a year. Welcome back. Amazon CEO revealing his newest project, and it's out of this world. Fox's Ray Bogan explains. And I'm Josh Lano. We'll have a check of your weather and traffic coming up on the 2s.
Well, a major construction project impacting drivers in Oakland County.
MDOT
is closing I-75 in both directions on a very busy stretch of the highway. Fox 2's Robin Murdoch joins us live with more on the area you'll need to avoid. Robin, good morning to you.
All right, do you need some inspiration this morning?
Yes.
We've got it for you right here. A Detroit woman overcomes a disability to become a world-class swimmer.
Amy, she's getting ready for the World Deaf Swimming Championships in Brazil, and you can help get her there. Fox 2's Erica Erickson explains. Welcome back. 5:30 is your time on this Friday morning. It makes balloons float and changes the pitch of your voice. But turns out there's a worldwide shortage of helium.
Probably needs to stop wasting the helium if there's a shortage.
I mean, we're
right?
on a worldwide shortage. And
a child will go out without a balloon on their birthday because Charlie.
Because of you, Charlie.
You just sucked up a balloon, an entire balloon.
Entire one.
Jill Washburn, okay. We're hearing frost this weekend?
Yeah,
That's
frost.
the word that's stuck in his head.
I know, right?
It's May.
That's not uncommon in May.
I know,
it's
but
not unheard of in May.
It hurts.
Do you know where you are? You're in Michigan.
I know. We are in Metro Detroit. I get it, born and raised, but as Amy alluded to, it hurts every time you hear it in May.
I know it does. I know.
If you commit a crime in downtown Pontiac, there's a good chance police will catch you on camera. 3 fire departments across Metro Detroit are installing smoke alarms for free today. It's hosted by MI Prevention, and installations are happening across the state. MI Prevention is a first-of-its-kind fire safety campaign coordinated through the State Fire Marshal. Yeah, a lot of people are going to be at this event because it's an important cause.
Very important.
We need to raise a lot of awareness, Amy. 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer.
And all of us know someone affected by breast cancer.
That's just it. I mean, too many women are diagnosed with this disease.
1 in 8?
Yes, I mean, so again, as you alluded to, I mean, either we know someone or we know someone who is fighting this illness. So we have to get out there, raise awareness, raise money.
Show your support.
Yes.
That's just as important.
As Fox 2's Group Ross shows us, every can and box counts. Help the cause.
Yes, get that food out there. Easy to do.
Starting at 6, some big construction projects starting this weekend, set to impact thousands of drivers. Right, we're standing outside of a New Bethel Baptist Church on the city's west side, here in the Linwood community, right at the intersection of Linwood and Philadelphia. And as you mentioned, I mean, this church is basically a second home to Aretha Franklin. Her father moved her here from Memphis, Tennessee back in the 1960s. And this is the church where she began her singing career early on in her life. She's been here ever since, a faithful member here. Financial contributions, always performing here. Any and everything she could do for this church, that's what she has been doing for the past few decades, going back more than 50 years, if you will. I spoke to Pastor Robert Smith Jr. a short time ago, maybe about 20 minutes ago, and he spoke about the last time he spoke with the Queen of Soul.
She has checked in with us from time to time, but it's been a little while now. The last time she checked in with us, she was planning a concert for this month. And that must have been 8 weeks ago or so. And not having heard anything else about that, I knew she had to be really, really suffering, feeling too bad to even think about it.
So she was actually planning to come here and appear and make it for a concert.
Every August, in the name of her father. You know, she loved her father.
And her father, Clarence Franklin, who moved Aretha Franklin here back in the 1960s from Memphis, Tennessee. Again, she began her career here singing at the church, and she was planning to have a concert here sometime this month, but as we know, she's gravely ill, so her condition probably goes back a few months. Also, the pastor, Robert Smith Jr., told me that she has played a big part in keeping this church doors open because the Linwood community has suffered quite a bit over the past decade or so, going back to 2003 with a lot of homes being torn down. It's been a Aretha, her energy, her financial contributions that has helped kept this church open. They're planning to have a prayer vigil this Wednesday, possibly Wednesday morning, and they're also working on a memoir of her and her father, Clarence Franklin, here at the church, trying to get some renderings together, so we'll have to keep you posted on that. But thoughts and prayers for Aretha Franklin continue here at New Bethel Baptist Church on the city's west side. Roop, back to you.
Yeah, Josh, you would ask the question if those walls could talk, but they already have, and they've sang a million notes with Aretha Franklin's voice in those doors. The energy in that place has to be incredible. Aretha, that was the first place she ever did a solo performance in her whole life, was in those doors, literally growing up there. It has to feel, you got to feel that energy when you're in that church.
Absolutely, Roop. When we got here about a half hour ago, we walked inside, we went into the back room. You see pictures of her and her father from back in the day, if you will, back in the 1960s, her and her father singing in the church, standing by each other. You just felt that energy inside of the church the moment you walked in. Definitely a second home to Aretha Franklin.
You are about to meet the woman who narrowly escaped the Beirut explosion on her wedding day. Not only is she counting her blessings, but she's encouraging the people in her country to stay strong and rebuild. If you have not seen this video, brace yourself. The site goes from majestic to misfortune in a matter of seconds. Dr. Isra Al-Sablani called in the Lebanon explosion on August 4th, only 300 meters away from the port of Beirut where the blast happened. The initial destruction instantly breaks your heart.
I started to tell myself that Isra, you're going to die and your life is about to end instead of starting a new chapter in your life.
Dr. Al-Sablani and her husband quickly run to this nearby restaurant looking for safety, and during those moments, she displays an act of heroism. Seeing people screaming and injured, the doctor comes to their aid.
As I always used to tell myself that Isra, you are living for others, to help people. You're not living to yourself or for yourself.
Dr. Al-Sablani lives in Metro Detroit and just arrived back in the U.S. this past week. Her husband still remains in Lebanon waiting for his visa to be approved. But she tells me Senator Gary Peters and Congresswoman Haley Stevens are helping with the process.
They sent me an email telling me that they contacted the embassy, and the embassy told them that they sent a request to the embassy in Beirut.
Once known as the Paris of the Middle East, Lebanon has dealt with decades of civil war, corruption, political conflict, and even more destruction and riots following the explosion in August. You can only wonder how much more the country can take on.
A personal question from me to you, Isra. I'm half Lebanese. I've never been to Lebanon. I want to go to Lebanon one day, God willing. When we feel it's safe, from your perspective, my friend, can Lebanon be rebuilt?
Of course. If Lebanese people stay beside each other, if they stay strong, they stay, they keep hope, never lose hope. Lebanon can rebuild again and be better than it was before.
In order for more flowers to blossom, the people in Lebanon need peace and more accountability from their leaders whom they have lost trust in. These pictures show some of the day-to-day struggles, a broken economy, many people homeless as they cry for help.
I remember a person who was walking in the street. He was asking everybody, "Did you see my son? Did you see my son?"
Hearing those memories and seeing the destruction only shows the need for more people to help. If you want to support the cause, you can download the Lebanese Red Cross app on your phone where you can make a donation. Josh Landon, Fox 2 News. From the technique to the textbook.
What is the mechanical process when using soap and water or detergent?
Cleaning.
Cleaning.
The craft is being honed at the Michigan Barber School in Detroit.
Come July of this year, we'll be in our 73rd year.
The parents of Saul Green, Forrest and Mamie Green, opened the Michigan Barber School in 1947. Before making the move to Detroit, Forrest Green grew up near Atlanta, Georgia.
His father was a barber. My dad went to high school there and went to Morehouse College, came to Detroit, part of the Black migration in the 1930s.
Forrest Green held several jobs, but his true talent remained being a barber. He maintained the spirit of an entrepreneur, something not easy to accomplish during these times when African Americans could not obtain loans or financial assistance the traditional way through a bank. With their own money and the support of other black business owners in what was then Black Bottom and Paradise Valley, this husband and wife made their dream a reality.
And he saw this as an opportunity to create something that didn't exist in Detroit, a place where principally African Americans could learn the barbering skills.
The Michigan Barber School was originally located on Hastings in Black Bottom. When the area was leveled in the 1950s, the Green family relocated to Adams Street, where Comerica Park now stands. In 1964, the Green family moved here to this location at Grand River and Joy Road on Detroit's west side. It's worth noting the school even survived the riots in 1967 without any major damage. For a family-owned business to survive more than 70 years, given all of the circumstances, is something quite remarkable. Also keep in mind, the renaissance we are seeing in downtown Detroit has not made its way to this neighborhood. Like many others in the city of Detroit, could use more support.
I can't tell you the number of times people come up to me because they've seen me here for much of the 73 years at one stage or another. And they talk about having come here as children and their fathers bringing them here. And they're walking in with their kids. And so there has been an intergenerational impact the Michigan Barber School has had on this community.
The community impact is one reason why the Michigan Barber School is honored at the Charles H. Wright Museum.
It was also very, very much a place of brotherhood, almost like a club.
Douglas McCrae, an educator at the museum, is alluding to barbershops in many ways being a sanctuary in the African American community. Going back in time to the Black migration and even further, it was a place of community where you could feel safe.
Many times people who had maybe been in the barbershop the day before would come back to the barbershop the next day just to hang out to see who's coming in today, to talk, play checkers.
It is a place where folk come together, particularly black men come together and are able to not only take care of their tonsorial needs, the barbering needs, but it's a place where people gather and where there's community conversation. Everything from politics to international news to sports.
At the Michigan Barber School today, the culture lives on.
Putting the life of someone in our chair and just changing the whole day up.
Giving opportunity to those who may need a second chance in life.
The teachers is very supportive of us, and we is very supportive of each other when it comes to cutting.
The barbershop to a lot of men in the city of Detroit is a very vital and important pillar and a place in the community.
Too many others like Forrest Green decades ago simply had the dream of giving people a nice haircut.
Detroit is the leader in this country. So what we produce in terms of barbers, we affect the entire United States.
Josh Landon, Fox 2 News.